Welcome to the last part of The Martian, where we are terraforming Mars. Now, in the first part of this survival series, we were working on survival. So, meanwhile, we are excellent at surviving on Mars, already at day 235, so that's about 8 months. And then came the second part of our adventure, where we tried to terraform Mars. Now for this, we first have to change the atmosphere. That's meanwhile be done, as I will show you in a minute. And then secondly comes the part where we try to plant Mars with wheat. So let me show you what we've been up to. This is our little greenhouse with a chicken, Bob the Sixth. He's got some plants as well, just to keep him company. And then we have our actual plants right here. So these are all wheat plants, and through means of selection we've been planting the wheat grains that had some nice interesting properties. So this is just your average tablet with a plant analyzer cartridge. What you can see is that there is some difference between these plants in terms of growth efficiency. So this one has 18% and 23 and 30, so generally quite low. And the reason for that is because we set our base to mimic the outside world, the changed atmosphere. So if we look in a bit more detail what these plants can do, for instance the 31 growth rate plant, we can see that the minimum ideal temperature is at -2 degrees, so that's quite low, and the maximum is at 50. So try to remember that, like around 0 to 50 degrees. And the pressure, it can stand like 36 to 60 pressure, so that's where it still grows well. And then I think there's also something, that's not shown here, but it also has like some indicators when damage is done, but it's maybe too much detail for now. So you can get more information using this plant sampler, getting this set up. We won't be doing that now though. We will continue with what we've achieved. So the idea is that we use these plants to grow outside on Mars for terraforming. Now the question is, did we manage to get the right properties in order to do that? And part of the answer lies outside. So we have to go there for a minute. And then I can show you what we actually managed to do in terms of altering the atmosphere. So this is not your default game with the latest update. This is the preterrain version, which is required in order to use a mod that requires that allows for terraforming. So that's made by Elmo, and what you can see is that the current atmosphere is made out of 99.5% CO2 with 80 molars, which is I think 10 times more than default. And the pressure is also 10 times more than default, which makes sense. So you might wonder, is this something that was achieved by just modding? And the answer to that is no. As you can see in the far distance, there is a little factory, deep mining setup that burns a lot of CO2. I will show you that at the end of the video. But essentially we've been burning a lot of coal in order to get more CO2 in the atmosphere. That's the trick. Right, so the next part is, of course, if our plants can withstand these conditions. So if we look at the temperature, then we see that during the day, in high noon, the temperature will slowly climb to around 50 degrees. And as you just remembered, this is still optimal for our plants. So that's quite important. And the pressure is around 30. Now that's a little bit suboptimal for our plants, but they're doing fine. So what we've done is that we took these plants and we are growing them outside, and you can see that they're sprouting. I think that's the word. Or maybe I should keep the light on. This is the wrong chip. I should switch back to the plant analyzer 1. So you can see that the growth efficiency is currently 0 apparently for some of these, or for all of them. Alright, so they are not really enjoying this bit. And the reason for that is what exactly? I think the temperature efficiency. Alright, that's strange because you would think that the current temperature, you can also see it in our suit. So if you look at the pointer, it's 49 degrees outside. It also says it here actually. Never mind. So apparently it's suboptimal, so I don't know why it's being this picky about the temperature being 2 degrees over and then having 1% temperature efficiency. That's a bit strange. And the pressure efficiency is also quite low, so this explains what's going on. And apart from that, I think it's doing alright. You could see some light efficiency, but that's sorted when these grow lights are turned on, because the light on Mars is insufficient to provide enough on its own. But well, the main point is that these plants are not dying, so that's already one achievement. But the question is, of course, if we keep this going a little bit, gets close to the optimal values, can we then grow plants more efficiently? So I will continue to off-stream quickly plant these new seeds into these bins, maybe get some more bins going, and then we'll see how those plants are doing. So I will see you in a bit. Welcome back to our Martian terraforming attempt. So you can see it's starting to become a new day, sunrise. We advanced like 14 days. Unfortunately, I don't have a mod for that, so it's just leaving my PC on while checking every now and then to feed our Martian. Very sad, but that's what we did. And you can see that we have some wheat growing outside. So this is what we achieved. We've got some plants outside, and they are more or less happy. I'm having the wrong chip inserted. Let's try that again. So you see that the growth efficiency is not great, although for some it's a bit better. I think they're hiding over here. 36%. Well, there are some exceptions of plants that are doing better, and plants that are doing worse on the back. But yeah, they're doing reasonably well, and you can see that the minimal temperature is -6 and the maximum is 52, and that is great because it becomes in our current setting with like 82 moles of CO2 or something. It becomes 51 degrees on peak hour. So that's what we'll slowly reach. The pressure can be a bit better, but I'm not sure if that's possible with the settings in the preterrain version of the game, so essentially this version of the game. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So we can cheat a little bit, make it look a bit nicer. Let's see. If we remove all of this. So unfortunately the current atmosphere on Mars doesn't really allow, or well, the current sun hours don't really allow for plants to grow like this. So this is actually not going to work. However, since we already have plants, we don't really have to worry about that bit anymore. So now it's just about looks. So we can at least make it look like things are all fine and under control. So if we then remove this cabling a little bit, fake it until you make it and all that sort of stuff, then what we get is some cool looking plants on Mars. No, we ran out of power. How is it possible? Oh, that's actually not true. So what's then the problem? I was aiming wrong. We are almost out of power, but not entirely. Oh, I missed one. Floaty little box over there. So then, let's also remove this bit of cabling. So then, this is what we end up with. And I think that looks pretty cool. I hope I'm the only one that achieved this. But I also hope that this will be possible in the future of the game. It will become a bit easier to do this kind of terraforming attempts. Let's get some sun flare. That's it. Can we do like less pixely? Maybe like this. I think that might look a bit cooler. Yeah, there we go. That's our live thumbnail creation. Only on this stream. And that's it. That's what it looks like. So this was achieved just as a bit of a repetition. And let's put some music while explaining this. There we go. This was achieved by using this botanical lab where we screen for plants with the correct genetics. We spiked the atmosphere with a lot of CO2, and these chickens, we'll talk about that later. And the CO2 originates from this bit, and this is what I promised to show you in the end. So let's fly there. So this is our improvised power line. Essentially, it transfers power from our CO2 burning facility. I should really say coal burning facility, and CO2 generating. And all the excess power gets stored in our main base. But also, this kind of helps us finding back our way between these two bases. And you might ask yourself, why did I build it this far away? It's because I thought it was cool. Use all the space on Mars. But also I thought rovers were still a thing. So I had like the Subnautica vibe where we go from Research Center 1, Research Center 2 and stuff like that. But yeah, welcome to the Deep Miner CO2 generator setup. So what we have here, let's start at the bottom, put a light on. We have 3 deep miners running continuously, digging up ores. This is like unrefined ore, you can see in this window chute. So they're digging non-stop, and all of that ore gets sorted upstairs with this complicated setup. So what this does is dirty ore goes into the centrifuge, and then, as you might be able to see, maybe it's not possible in this view, is that the centrifuge then slowly splits all these ores into different components. So that's all transported to a sorter system, which looks like this, and everything gets sorted and stored in this big silo, apart from one specific resource, and you can guess which one it is. It is coal. So there goes the coal. And what happens to the coal is that it will get into this nice loop, which feeds coal to a bunch of incinerators. So these generate electricity but also CO2, and that's how we achieved the high level of CO2 in the atmosphere, because that is currently at, drum rolls, so at 99.5%, but molarity is maybe a bit more important, so that's 87.5. If we go up, It might fluctuate a little bit. No, that's pretty solid. Right. Now it also looks like the O2 percentage has actually changed. I thought it was 0.1 something. So it might have been changed by our plans, but as you can see it does fluctuate. So when we stay still, then yeah, this might be the real value. I don't know. And why is that important? Well, I will tell you why. The part that we will not be doing, but technically is possible, is to increase the percentage of CO2 to a percentage where chickens can actually survive on our planet. So that will be the ultimate terraforming attempt, right? So you have a balance between chickens and plants. So the chickens generate CO2, whereas the plants use it to make O2. So that will be very cool, but that will take a long time. Actually, I wanted to explain that the Terraforming mod does allow you to increase the CO2 in the atmosphere like we did, but I altered the mod and added like a multiplication factor 50 or something to speed up the process. And that was really necessary for this to be possible with the small setup you just saw. So if you're interested, then please comment and I will post what I exactly did to make this possible. But really I just hope that this terraforming will be part of the main game, and that you can maybe use a slider or something to set the difficulty of this terraformer, the speed. But yeah, if there would be a high percentage of O2 in the atmosphere, then chickens would also be able to walk outside. Now we did a little experiment in the second part of our base, where we established the percentage of CO2, I'm saying it wrong again, the percentage of O2 that is required for chickens to survive here. So I placed it in my previous video. I forgot the exact number, which is a bit of a shame, but I remember it to be somewhere between 13 and 18% if I'm correct. So somewhere between that, so that's pretty low, but it's still far away from what we currently have, because we are far below the 1%. Then of course you also would need to remove the pollution that's currently in the air, and that's what would be required to get these chickens roaming around as well. So it's definitely possible. Will take a long time currently though. We are getting more chickens as we speak. You could do some alternative strategy where you dig up a lot of oxygen, iced oxygen, or get it with rockets from space or something. It's all possible, but we are going to end the series over here. We achieved our goal. We did quite a lot of applied quite a lot of tricks in order to get it, but I'm very happy with the result, and I hope you enjoyed. And you're looking forward to Station Years of being further developed. Not sure if I mentioned, but the Terraforming mod was made by Elmo, so that's a bit of credits that I should of course give, because I didn't make this mod. And did I forget anything? I think that was it. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some inspiration to do some other cool projects yourself in Station Years, and yeah, and I hope to see you another time. I also would like to thank the people that comment and subscribe. That's very kind of you, and I definitely notice, so thank you as well. And for now, bye bye.